Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Let's take a deep dive into the term cruelty-free. I've seen some recent changes and some new discussion recently that I think you should know about. I'll be discussing the term cruelty-free, some changes to animal testing in China as of 2021, answers to some common questions, and also some encouragement if you guys are feeling a bit overwhelmed by everything. I came across a post on Instagram from another blogger called Ethical Elephant, and they pointed out that PETA has recently changed their cruelty-free logo and language on how they talk about brands that are cruelty-free. Now, I'm not saying that I support PETA all of a sudden, because I don't, but I do agree with their change. So I wanted to talk about this after watching one of Jen Luv's recent videos. I was a bit scared or nervous to watch the video, but I think she made some good points. Though she is not an exclusively cruelty-free consumer or creator, I kind of felt like I had some things to add here. So if you're into cruelty-free and vegan makeup, stick around. I do 3 videos a week. What Jen was saying in her video, which I'll link below, the premise was that cruelty-free does not mean free from cruelty. It just means not tested on animals. And brands that are cruelty-free can still use animal ingredients in their products. They may manufacture their products in a way that is unethical, or they may inadvertently contribute to animal or human cruelty with their manufacturing or ingredient harvesting process. And the term cruelty-free is not regulated. Let's say a brand doesn't test on animals in the United States necessarily. They can call themselves cruelty-free even though they may sell in China where animal testing is required. And speaking of China, there are a few new developments to their laws, which I will talk about a little bit later on in this video, so stick around because I think those are important. So does all of this mean that we shouldn't even bother or shouldn't bother purchasing from cruelty-free companies? No. But back to PETA, gosh, I even hate bringing them up and admitting they're right. Pains me. They've changed their cruelty-free list to be animal test-free list. They only use the term cruelty-free when both the brand does not test on animals and when they only use vegan ingredients, which makes perfect sense. I have been saying that the verbiage is backwards for years, but nobody asked me. I just didn't get why brand could be cruelty-free but still use animal ingredients. You know what I mean? Now we just need to change the brands that say they're vegan but still test on animals. And I'm looking at you, Garnier and Sally Hansen. Side note, this doesn't mean that I all of a sudden trust PETA's brand list or certifications. There's a lot of flaws with them. I mainly only use Logical Harmony and Leaping Bunny. So I want to know what your guys' opinion on this language change is. Like, do you think that's a better way to put it, or do you think that it'll be too confusing for people? Let me know your thoughts, because I am not 100% sure like how I feel about that, because cruelty-free has been a thing for so long, and I think if we change it now, like, it would be confusing, so I don't know. But back to China for a moment. For years and years, like every few months, there's an article or something that will surface saying how they're looking at changing their policies, maybe they'll end animal testing, or there have been articles that are entirely misleading saying that they have ended animal testing when they have not. And these articles all pop up, but there's never any follow-up or any change that happens. Well, now we have new information. According to the Humane Society International, there was a regulation that went into effect January 1st, 2021. At least there was supposed to be. I haven't heard any updates. But I'm going to read this next part directly from their article so I don't say anything wrong. In a move applauded by global animal protection leader Humane Society International, China's State Council has finalized regulations that significantly modernize cosmetic safety assessment and lay critical groundwork for removal of the long-standing requirement to animal test all imported ordinary cosmetics, a practice which in the past decade has consumed between 50,000 and more than 120,000 rabbits each year. Effective January 1st, 2021, imported ordinary cosmetics such as shampoo, blusher, mascara, and perfume may no longer have to be animal tested for eye and skin irritation in Chinese laboratories. Ordinary cosmetics make up the bulk of personal care products imported to China. So-called special cosmetics will still require animal testing. And then these special cosmetics that they call them would include cosmetics used for hair and skin coloring, perming, sun protection, anti-hair loss, children's products, and cosmetics claiming new effects. So basically like normal makeup kind of stuff wouldn't be included in this, but they would still test anything that has like a medical claim or could be potentially dangerous. And there's another point in this article that I really wanted to emphasize because I've seen a lot of people that will scramble to go out and buy from these makeup brands that sell in China whenever new regulations or like a rumor comes out that China's ending animal testing. This regulation also provides for routine post-market sampling inspections by provincial authorities, including for cosmetics with reported safety problems. It is unclear whether such inspections and investigations could involve animal testing. This uncertainty has long been a barrier to cruelty-free beauty brands entering the Chinese market. So just because they have ended testing on these specific types of cosmetics, that's only for the pre-market testing, which I'll explain a little bit here in a minute, but they did not end the post-market situation. I just want to emphasize and make sure that you guys understand that this regulation does not end animal testing in China. It just kind of lessens the impact, which is a step in the right direction, but unfortunately not far enough. Now for some common questions that I've seen about makeup in China, like if it's manufactured there or whatever. So for cosmetics manufactured in China, currently, if I'm reading because I want to make sure that I say this right. So if cosmetics made in China are sold in China, like made and sold there, then they do not have to be pre-market tested. But I'm also unsure if this includes those like special cosmetics like the sunscreen and hair dye and all that. But if cosmetics that are manufactured in China are exported, so like say a certain cruelty-free brand may manufacture their products in China, that these products are not required to be tested because they are not sold to consumers in China. So the rule or the law that the products have to be tested on animals is for the safety and protection of people in China. So that's like they don't really care, you know, if they're like exporting stuff, they don't really care. But if cosmetics are manufactured outside of China that are going to be sold in China to Chinese consumers, then these are subject to pre-market testing. But now with this new regulation, only those special cosmetics are going to be tested. And again, with everything, there is still a chance of post-market testing for any product sold in China. So just for example, the first makeup product that I saw on my vanity here, this is an e.l.f. setting spray. Now, you guys know e.l.f. is 100% cruelty-free and they're vegan. But this setting spray and most of their products, I'm pretty sure, do say that they are made in China. So e.l.f.'s products, since they don't sell their products to consumers in mainland China, like in physical stores, they do not have to be subject to that testing. But if companies want to sell to people in China, then they can use e-commerce, like direct-to-consumer type of sales instead of going into stores. It would be impossible for the Chinese government to test everything like on the internet, you know what I mean? So if they are direct to consumer, then they aren't subject to this. And something else that I see pop up occasionally that kind of strikes a nerve sometimes is that animal testing still happens outside of China. It hasn't been banned everywhere else. It's just not required anywhere that I'm aware of besides China. In some countries it has outright been banned, like in the European Union, which it's not a country, but you know what I mean. But for example, in the United States, I'm pretty sure California is the only one who's even brought up legislation about it. But animal testing really only happens when a company decides to use a new ingredient or test a new claim that isn't already generally regarded as safe. As Jen talked about in her video that I mentioned earlier, unfortunately there are still a few specific kinds of tests that we don't have alternatives for that are not animals. But again, most ingredients have already been proven to be safe, so retesting these ingredients that are already proven to be safe is pointless. So what does all this mean for the industry? Not really sure how this will all go in the long run, like if Leaping Bunny or Cruelty-Free International, which is the company that's like over Leaping Bunny, will consider changing their verbiage as well, or if companies will start scrambling to update their websites and packaging and things. But I kind of feel like if a brand is already cruelty-free, they wouldn't go backwards and say that they're animal test free, because that kind of feels like they would be admitting they're not cruelty-free. You get what I'm saying? And then what does this mean for us consumers? We have to understand that nothing is going to be perfect. Going cruelty-free, animal test-free, whatever you want to call it, is great and actually does help the animals. Using vegan beauty products but not going plant-based yet still helps animals. Or going meatless for just 1 day a week still helps animals. So don't let militant vegans or cruelty-free advocates get in your head. You don't have to be all or nothing. Any step that you can take is helpful. It is literally impossible to be 100% ethical consumer, but every step counts. Like people love to say, there is no ethical consumption under capitalism. I'd also like to point out that the responsibility to be ethical does not entirely fall on consumers. It falls on the companies that sell the products. So yes, buying more ethical products or cruelty-free products pushes companies in the right direction, but they should have been going in the right direction in the first place. It's not our fault that these brands choose to test on animals, and it's not our fault if we buy from them unknowing that they do unethical things behind the scenes. It's their fault. I know this is an unpopular opinion within like the vegan and cruelty-free community, but do what you can, guys. Like there's so much going on. Like just do what you can, you know? You don't have to be perfect or like beat yourself up if you accidentally buy from a non-cruelty-free brand, or if you're trying to be vegan and you accidentally buy something with animal products in it. Don't beat yourself up about it. You know, it happens. Maybe someday the world will be entirely cruelty-free, but until then we just have to do the best we can. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Let me know what you think about PETA changing their language or the new stuff with China. It's kind of disappointing that they haven't totally ended this practice of animal testing, but they are hopefully taking steps in the right direction. This was the first thing that I have seen with an actual date and like concrete information about what they're doing. Click up here to watch my most recent video, or click over here to watch another video about going cruelty-free if you want more information. And give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss seeing my face in your subscription box every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Links to my social media, my blog, and any relevant articles that I referenced will be in the description box below, and I will see you guys in the comments. Bye.